Imagine you are 34 years old, sitting across from one of the most powerful investors in Silicon Valley, and you are looking straight at the Golden Gate Bridge from his house. Michael Moritz from Sequoia is telling you that Stripe wants to buy your 3.5-year-old startup for $1.2 billion. At the time, Jack Zhang's company Airwallex was only making about $2 million in annualized revenue. The math on that offer is absolutely wild. We are talking about a revenue multiple near 600 times. The argument was that combining forces with a generational founder like Patrick Collison would compound into something legendary. You would probably take the money, right? Jack actually said yes at first after wandering around San Francisco for 2 weeks, losing his mind over the decision. But then he flew almost 8,000 miles back home to Melbourne and looked at the whiteboard in his office. He realized he was just getting started. The business was growing 100 times in 2018, and he wanted to finish his vision of building a true global financial infrastructure. Fast forward to today, and that decision looks like pure genius. Airwallex now pulls in over $1.3 billion in annualized revenue, growing at 85% year-over-year, and processes nearly $300 billion in transaction volume. Jack's philosophy is what really sets this apart. He calls it the path of maximum resistance. Instead of just throwing a software wrapper over existing banking systems, they spent years getting nearly 90 financial licenses across 50 markets. In Japan alone, it took them 7 years. Sometimes they literally had to buy dead shell companies just to rebuild the technology underneath their central bank licenses. Stripe only has about half that number of licenses. Because Airwallex holds the actual funds inside its ecosystem, a US merchant selling in Australia does not have to pay the standard 2 to 3% conversion fee to move that money back into US dollars. They can just hold it there, pay local vendors, and run payroll like a local company. It took them over 6 years to hit $100 million in revenue, but after laying all that brutal groundwork, it took just 3 years to hit $1 billion. Now, as Stripe tries to go global and Airwallex pushes into the US market, these two giants are on a collision course. While Stripe is the golden child of developers, Airwallex targets the finance teams and CFO offices. Jack knows winning over the developer crowd is a massive hurdle, but with an $8 billion valuation and a plan to hit $20 billion in revenue by 2030, he is not backing down. This is what happens when you refuse to just ride someone else's infrastructure.